When you have a series as popular as Naruto, the pairing debates there are just about as intense as the actual debates about which character is stronger than the other. With Boruto, he's been shipped with everyone from Sarada to Sumire to even, I kid you not, his own Aunt Hanabi. That's why in today's newest Naruto Explained video, we're going to be taking an extensive look at every major sign that Boruto and Sumire are in love. For the setup of this video, it's going to be very similar to the ones I did for every sign Boruto and Sarada are in love, every sign that Sumire and Kawaki are in love, and every sign that Sarada and Kawaki are in love. I will be taking a neutral stance in this video, merely laying out the signs for the ships in question so that those of you guys who are intrigued by ships, you can debate your heart out. This is merely presenting the evidence for the ship itself. Whether or not it's a strong argument, that's going to be up to you guys to decide down in the comment section. Finally, like we did with all the other videos, we will be using a mix of manga, Boruto novels set in the Academy era, and the Boruto anime, so some of this information will be new to you if you've only read the manga or watched the anime. So with that being said, let's start looking at the signs that Boruto and Sumire are in love before making the case for the pairing, which for full transparency, these will not be in chronological order so much as I'm going to be listing them out in the order that I find to be the most relevant information. In chapter 19 of Boruto's manga, we get our first glaring sign of there being an attraction that exists between these two, with class rep first saying that she got annoyed at the thought of other girls liking Boruto, making it pretty clear to Sarada that she had romantic feelings for Boruto. This is when, coupled with her directly asking Sarada if other girls like Boruto, gets on her nerves, is a indication, a warranted one, since we see later on in the manga after Naruto loses Kurama that girls are waving at Boruto as he's sitting on top of the Hokage monument. This shows that class rep has taken a keen interest in Boruto well before the other girls in their generation had ever begun to do so. On Boruto's side, we see in the anime there's a tendency for him to call Sumire by her nickname class rep. But the only time he has ever said her name directly was when he was making an appeal on her behalf when everyone realized that she was behind the Nue incident. It showed that Boruto cared very deeply for her. Throughout the anime, we see that she consistently receives the most personalized care and attention from Boruto, with it being noted that Boruto has never disrespected her or talked back to her, whereas he's gotten into a bunch of testy and spotty moments with other girls like Sarada and Wasabi. While a lot of that can be boiled down to it just being strong personalities that clash, it should be worth noting that this does mirror Naruto and Hinata, where Naruto was never written as having clashed with Hinata in the manga. Though to be fair, Naruto did barely speak to Hinata in the manga as well too. In Boruto episode 7, when her stalker confesses his love for her, Boruto is shown both blushing when it happens, and he is shown being very protective over her when this is occurring, activating his Jogan later on in the same episode when he sees that she is seemingly in danger. Later on in the Academy arc, when Boruto heard that his classmates were injured, his primary concern, it appeared to be on Sumire, and he rushed to the hospital to see her and even blamed himself for her being injured, despite Boruto himself not being there with her when she got hurt. Later on, when Boruto is asked by Mitsuki if he will save the villagers or Sumire, Boruto doesn't hesitate to choose both, showing that he loves both equally, and he immediately stepped in when Mitsuki attempted to kill her. She revealed that her class rep persona, it was all a facade, and Boruto's Jogan activated in response to her actions when she was carrying out the Nue plan multiple times in that arc, which only further connects her to Boruto, because as we've seen in the anime, when she goes into that Nue dimension, Boruto instinctually is able to follow using his Jogan, and he does so without hesitation. Boruto was also able to correctly sense that despite her actions, Sumire had hesitation in destroying Konoha, showing that he understood her on a deeper level than most people did. By extension, Boruto's interactions with her in the tail end of the Nue arc, it showcases that Boruto had changed his outlook on life and had given her something to live for, which is further expounded upon by Boruto directly going to his father to appeal for Sumire to not be punished, harshly after the attack on the village. We also see that Sumire, she has tears in her eyes when Boruto gives her the thumbs up when she returns to the academy, which it should be worth noting that Boruto had previously been upset at the thought that she might be sent to another institution and never allowed back at the academy with them. Further on in the academy arc, we have Sumire reveal that part of the reason why she wanted to become a shinobi was to pay Boruto back for the faith that he placed in her, showing that a big part of her purpose as a shinobi comes from Boruto and wanting to support him. Later on in the anime, just before she leaves to join the ninja tech department, Boruto thinks of Sumire when he learns of Jugo's past, showing that he still thinks of her at times. We then jump ahead even further and we see that Sumire, she is visibly shaken when she learns that Boruto is being transformed into Momoshiki genetically, and she was the only girl from their generation who was right there in the room when this information was being revealed by Amato, giving her direct insight into what it was Boruto was struggling with. Later on in the story, Kawaki flat out asks her, is she in love with Boruto, and she blushes, and she tells Kawaki to keep it a secret, with Katasuke thinking to himself, it's a well-known secret that everyone knows. Countless times in the anime, she is shown having a similar reaction when people ask her, does she like Boruto, and when her stalker confessed to her, her reason for rejecting him, it isn't outright stated, but it can be strongly implied that this was done because of her feelings for Boruto were developing at the time, the only boy she has ever been shown confessing her feelings for in the story. In the latest Boruto Two Blue Vortex manga chapter as of this recording, Sumire goes off on Sarada for hugging Boruto in chapter 5 of the story. This is because in Japanese culture, traditionally hugs, they're meant to be things done behind closed doors. They're reserved primarily for lovers in order to show intimacy. When it's done in public, traditionally it's meant for people who have survived shared trauma together, which is why Sumire looked so hurt when Boruto was hugging Sarada back, as well as Sarada just jumping literally into his arms. And that's why she felt so angry towards Sarada when she accused Sarada of not thinking of her feelings, and she again openly states that she likes Boruto. Taking things a step further, Boruto uses purple lightning as his primary jutsu in Two Blue Vortex, which it might not seem like much to you at first until you dig deep into what purple lightning was originally called, which is the violet bolt. Boruto's name means bolt and Sumire's name means violet. Boruto uses purple lightning so primarily and so prominently in the manga right now, it could be a sign of the two eventually coming together. Given her feelings for Boruto, they also appear to have grown stronger, just as Boruto's grown stronger. Also, when we look at the colors that are associated with Boruto and Sumire's colors, they complement each other. Boruto wears that reddish pink color, and Sumire wears a bluish violet shade of purple, putting them very close together when you look at the color wheel. Traditionally in Naruto, this usually ends up being a hint towards a pairing, with Minato and Kushina's primary colors and Naruto and Hinata's primary colors being complementary. And with Minato and Kushina, the meaning behind their names, they had a connection, with Minato's name meaning harbor and Kushina's last name being a pun on whirlpools, vortex, and spiral. But taking the whirlpool name, then you get the meaning of the whirlpool marries the harbor. Just like you would have a violet marrying a bolt, or you would have a violet bolt. Taking a step further, Sumire's birthday is stated by Ukyo Kodachi, the former writer for Boruto's manga, to be on June 12th, which makes for a 2.5 month gap between herself and Boruto, which is the exact gap between Naruto and Hinata. You have further proof of these two potentially ending up together, given the tendency of the main Uzumakis marrying people who are the opposite of them in personalities. Kushina and Naruto, they were loud and stubborn and pig-headed at times, whereas Minato and Hinata, they were reserved, they were shy at times, and they were humble. Just as Boruto carries a lot of traits from his father and grandmother, Sumire also shares some of the traits of Hinata and Minato. In the bonus materials for Boruto Volume 5, we also have Sumire's character profile stating that she loved Boruto, asking where will her research and love lead her. This is important because if we go back to Naruto's 4 official databooks, the databooks themselves were used to show romantic feelings, with Sakura being shown literally falling in and out of love with Sasuke, going from being in love with Sasuke in the first data book, being in love with Sasuke in the second data book. The third Naruto data book says that she used to love Sasuke and her feelings for Naruto were something that she didn't quite understand and that Naruto made her heart flutter. And then in the fourth Naruto data book, it flat out says that Sakura is in love with Sasuke even more than she was at any other point in the series. So we cannot ignore the bonus material of Boruto Volume 5. In Boruto Academy Novel 3, the narrator describes Sumire as looking at Boruto and describing him as someone whose eyes they shine like the sun, and his voice was described as being fresh in her ears, which shows even as her heart was struggling in the New Way arc, he was a source of warmth for her long before he ever saved her. Was there a sign that you guys believe that I did miss that should have made this list? Let me know down in the comment section below, and if you think that Boruto and Sarada are a stronger ship, or you want to hear the argument for that pairing after watching this video, then you want to click here on the left for that video in question, or you can click here to watch this other video from my Anime Explained channel where I discuss non-Naruto content.